क्या क्या कवर किया हमने?
Level of communication, sir.
Pardon?
So levels of communication, down communication.
Can't understand what you're trying to say. Formal and informal communication, have you completed that? Yeah, Shashwat? Feel visible to all of you? Am I audible? Yes, Roshan Munda?
Yes, sir.
Feel visible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We have done this part?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Informal communication has also been done.
Yes, sir.
So
Yes,
we now move to non-verbal communication.
no,
Now
sir.
you
It is.
see, pardon? What is non-verbal communication? See, there are different forms of communication. Okay, you have got a written communication, you have got spoken communication. Okay, and now you've got non-verbal communication. Non-verbal communication is equally important. In fact, it is more important than written and spoken communication. Okay, because here you see while you interact, so you're having a class right now. Okay, and even if it is an online mode, and I don't get a response from your end, that if I ask you a question like, am I clear? I will give you a question to answer, none of you answer. And then I'm getting a response, isn't it? Maybe a negative response for that matter. But I am getting a response that either you don't want to answer, or it's not clear to you, or you're not interested in the subject altogether. There are so many interpretations that one can make in non-verbal communication. You see, this famous Greek orator, Demosthenes, when he was once asked by his audience that if you want to begin a speech or when you begin the oratory, what should the opening lines be? Ask him the reply, action. He was further questioned, what about the middle part? Again, action. Then how should one conclude it? Again, Demosthenes replied, action. So you see what Demosthenes was trying to say is that we should not only speak, but we need to put our words into action. Okay, just by speaking and not acting on it, okay, destroys the essence of communication. Destroys the essence of communication. And see, you should be known by your work and not by your words. Should be known by your deeds, what you have done. Be deeds or be misdeeds, whatever. You see, and it's also there's an old adage that action speaks louder than words. What you have done, what you perform. Okay, is who you are, is what you are. Okay, this is that our actions are a means of communication subject to interpretation by others. Even the failure to act is a way of communicating. Like right now, I ask you a question: what was covered? None of you spoke. When the class began, there were two students. I constantly tried to get into a conversation with them, but they kept mum. As they were in a sundown strike. नहीं कुछ भी हो जाए मैं तो नहीं बोलूंगा. Right? It's entirely up to you. जब क्विज का मार्क्स आएंगे then I'll be mum. मैं कुछ नहीं बोलूंगा. So you see, we spend a maximum time, at least 70 to 80% of uh, active time in communicating non-verbally. You see, non-verbal has got so many aspects that is touches upon the way you speak, the way you talk, the way you walk, the way you write. Okay, they're all open to interpretations. Okay, and different people will interpret you differently. Okay, one might interpret you as a very uncouth person. The other person might like you for your uncouth. Okay, so you see, a person is always open to different interpretations. Okay, so under nonverbal communication, you see, we'll be studying facial expressions, your eye contact, the pitch of your voice, the tone of your voice, how you carry yourself. Are you walking properly, or do you slouch while you sit, or do you sprawl on the chair while you sit? Okay, and where do you perform, where do you stand in a particular group? Okay, these all things goes as a fulcrum to nonverbal communication. So, how do you define nonverbal communication? In layman terms, it is communication through any means other than words. Okay, so here it's a bit vague other than words. So, whether you speak, whether you write, you utter or you write words. So, to make it more precise, says that it is transmission of messages by some medium other than speech or writing. So it's neither oral communication nor written communication. And what it is, what is it? It further says that it refers to all external stimuli other than the spoken or written words, and that includes body motion, characteristics of voice, appearance, and space and distance. So it will be covering kinesics, it will be covering paralinguistic features, it will cover proxemics, it will cover haptics. They all are part of nonverbal communication. And you must have all have come across the term body language, right? Again, no response, the usual response. We won't speak. Have you come across the term body language? So after the interpretation of the photographs and all the five interpretations, now let's come on the different aspects of nonverbal communication. Okay. You see, under nonverbal communication, I told you, asked you a question as to what is body language, and as usual, you did not respond. You see, the scientific term for body language is kinesics. After kinesics, the next aspect of the nonverbal communication is paralinguistics. The third one is proxemics, and then haptics. So we'll be covering each aspect, and each aspect, like kinesics or paralinguistics and proxemics and haptics, they'll all have different subheads. Okay. So let's begin with body language or kinesics. What is kinesics? The kinesics is also known as the study of the communicative dimensions of facial and bodily movements and includes gestures, facial expression, eye contact, posture, and speaking volume. Okay, so now the different subheads under kinesics or body language. Under body language, the first aspect is facial appearance. Then you have posture, gestures, eye contact, facial expressions, not in the same order. But let's first touch upon personal appearance. You see, see how you appear in a different zone, that is your personal zone or your social zone. Okay, makes you what you are. You see, appearance matters a lot. Your personal appearance matters a lot. Like I told you, you have been this online classes for the last 2 years, and in the last 2 years, many students have had a very laid-back approach. Like I told you that if I ask you a question, you're not responding. So if I ask any of you to switch on the cameras, you might still not respond because might be shabbily dressed or you don't want to come in front of the camera, also might be unkept and so forth. So you see how you appear, how you look. Okay, that tells a lot about if you go to the class in simple clothes or a night suit, the unkept hair or unkept bed, and you sit and you begin to sleep in the class and don't respond. The message that communicates is that in person you never wanted to be there, but you're not there by choice, but why? But by compulsion, because you're supposed to be there, so you are there. But you're the first take of it. So the message that you are conveying is that you are a very negative sort of person. You're not interested in coming in the first place. Similarly, can you imagine yourself going for an interview, okay, dressed in crumpled clothes, unkept hair, and not carry any of your certificates here with you? You do so, you see the first impression that the recruiter would make is that you don't have any sense of responsibility. If you cannot organize yourself, how can you manage your office? And they have doubts about your abilities. You see, how you dress, how you walk, how you carry yourself, okay, tells a lot about who you are. So we need to be properly attired, properly dressed for a particular occasion because looks do matter. Secondly, looks are deceptive as well. Looks are deceptive as well. You see, while when I was posted at BIT Jaipur, I was there for 2 years. So I had this class of business economics. So I was discussing the theory of markets, so discussing the demand and supply, right? So demand and supply theory. Okay. So it went on for 3 to 4 days, and I saw Miss bobbing the head in the affirmative, and that gave me the impression that they were taking in everything, they were understanding everything. Yeah, that was why they were nodding their heads, bobbing their heads in the I understood everything. After 5 or 6 lectures, suddenly what happened, that which is my habit. Okay, and welcome to your habit as well. I called out the name of a friend and asked him, okay, I find this or what have you quoted the last customer, please explain. And that's was shocked. He reflected, who me? And then sheepishly, he grinned sheepishly and looked towards the floor. Now, the image that I had was that he was trying to understand everything. Okay, he was trying to take notes in front of me. But you see, he was trying to fool me. That yes, by bowing your head or by nodding your head, you give the impression that you're listening to it very intently, you're participating very intently. Once questioned, you had no answer to it. Okay, so I asked 3 or 4 students. Some answered, some gave vague answers, and some did not answer at all. So, what conclusion or what inference should I make is that some students come here just for the sake of coming. Okay, they don't want to learn anything. And some come here for not only learning, but to implement it as well. Okay, so like I told you again, the appearance that gave them away. Next comes your before next comes your posture. So let's discuss or know what is posture. Okay, now posture refers to the way we sit, stand, and carry ourselves, and it communicates the way we feel about the world around us. And as a professional, you see, you need to cultivate and have to maintain elegance in your sitting, walking, writing. In fact, how you carry yourself. Okay, and your posture should reflect it. That while you sit in a chair, okay, you don't sit on the edge of it because you sit on the edge of the chair so that you're very nervous, but you don't sprawl on the chair altogether, or you don't slouch on it, okay, with your shoulders high. They all give a very negative feeling about you. And while you talk, okay, what happens is that you look towards the floor, towards the ceiling, but you don't look towards the person. You constantly bob your head, you turn your head in the left or right direction. That means you're a very fidgety person. So your posture again, just like a fish or just like a pussycat, tells a lot about you. You see, there are some tips of maintaining posture. Okay, that while walking, look straight, avoid looking at the floor, outside the window, or door, or up at the ceiling. Because while you're walking and your gaze is fixated towards the road on which you're walking, or floor which you're more walking, people might perceive that you're down in the dumps, that you don't want to maintain eye contact, or you are evading them. But if you're confident, you're sure of yourself, you walk with your shoulders straight, okay, and maintain an eye contact while you walk. Second one is that many people while they walk, okay, they don't take the foot clearly off the floor. They drag the shoes, they drag the footwear on the floor. It makes a very unpleasant sound, not good to the ear, not good to the ear. Okay. But in a physical classroom, okay, while has classes in the classroom to your back, you're supposed to conduct some exam okay, because you had your midterm for 25 marks, and then you had a midterm for 30 marks, and then you had 3 assignments over 30 marks. The assignments are used to conduct exam powers. So what used to happen is that we used to discuss that in the class, we used to discuss on certain topics, and then after 2 or 3 classes, I used to call the students on the dais to present on or to speak on a given topic. Okay, so what happened is that students, okay, while sitting on the computer chairs, they're not aware that who's going to be called whom, where, because they're not calling students about roll numbers. It was I used to call the student randomly, call up the roll number randomly. Some students, okay, they walked with poise, they walked slowly towards the dais, they turned back, had a good eye contact while speaking, they finished their speaking and then again walked back, okay, gracefully back to the seat and went on. But some who were not prepared or were nervous, the moment their names were called, they used to rush towards the dais, so to do in a hurry to stand behind the podium, go blah 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 blah, finish it and rush back before the teacher, okay, would stop him, ask a few questions or would allow the audience to ask certain questions. He would simply rush back towards the comfort of his chair. Okay, so you see, if you are told to give a presentation or make a presentation, you have got to have a very dignified approach towards the lectern or towards the dais, or while you walk up the dais and head towards the podium. Don't walk either too slow or too fast. But walk has got to be very graceful. Okay, I told you that while you sit on the chair, if you're sitting on the edge of the chair, that shows that we are very nervous. So one should not sit on the edge of the chair because it communicates unease and discomfort. Similarly, and particularly if you're sitting in the front row, make sure that you're not sitting with your legs crossed. And similarly, the onus is on the presenter as well. That while he is standing and leaning his weight on the podium, he does not cross his legs while standing. Because according to nonverbal communication, it means that you're fearful or you're hiding something from someone. Now, I told you previously that the statements made herein are not all correct. Okay, they are open to various interpretations by different people. That while you have your hands across the chest, you might be perceived that you are a very close person, or very close-minded person. You don't want to share everything with you. Okay, so you are not an introvert, but you're an extrovert. Make sure that such feelings do not people because nothing can be said with certainty about nonverbal communication. So I told you that at the very beginning, the Demasri said that while you communicate, you don't communicate, you're open to or you're subject to different interpretations made by different people. Okay. So after postures, we have gestures and hand movements. I see a speaker or listener gestures and hand movements can support and emphasize the state of mind. So one has got to use the gestures and hand movements in a very graceful manner, in an appropriate manner, so that the impact created by them is graceful and not threatening. Okay. Like while I was discussing on the 5 pictures, you saw that there was a lady who was over given thumbs up sign, and there was another lady who had given the victory sign. You see, while giving those gestures or resemblance, the thumb or the V sign, you need to study the picture as well. Where the lady had given the thumbs up sign, show it to you once again. The third picture where the lady is giving thumbs up sign, her face is synchronized with that facial up with that gesture that the lady is smiling or giving the thumbs up sign. It might be a sign that she's very confident, she's telling you all the best, or the other person can even interpret or misinterpret that while you were questioned, you gave the sign, you gave a thumbs up sign saying that you don't do anything, or that smile can be well can be termed as a smirk and not a smile. Okay, that you're giving a very ridiculous smile or a very sly smile with that gesture, and the other person might be offended with that particular gesture. The picture just before the thumb sign, you got another lady who's giving the V sign, but you see, if you look at her face, she looks in despair or utter confusion. So she might be trying to state a point that, okay, if this would have been done correctly, victory would have been ours. Okay. And she's again emphasizing the point that, okay, yeah, we'll do it again and may victory be ours. But you see, there's a difference, okay, on the way her facial expression gives away a different meaning and different uh, interpretation altogether, and gesture conveys a different meaning altogether. Okay, so you need to be very sure about your hand movement and gestures. You got one more gesture out here, one more picture out here, where you got a man who's covered his uh, ears with his palms, the lady at the center who's closed, who's covered her eyes with her palm, and a man who's covered his lips. You will say that ये गांधी जी को तीन बंदर है बुरा मत सुनो बुरा मत देखो बुरा मत बोलो. What does it convey in today's context? It says that we should not believe everything on hearsay only. Okay, so we should keep our ears closed, think about it, listen to different people, and then make a decision. Similarly, we should not be fooled by other people into seeing and believing what they are showing us. But then we cannot keep a blind eye or turn a blind eye towards everything. Okay? And we don't need to always keep quiet. Okay? We need to express ourselves. But that expression should not hurt anyone. Okay, so there should not be any personal comments on the behavior of a particular individual. So you need to take care, okay, while you're speaking, while you're listening, and while you are observing anything. So your gestures, again, I told you, might have different interpretation altogether. So what are the different tips for gestures and hand movements? Is that one needs to make sure that your hands are in control and to make sure that they don't develop a life of their own. Sometimes what happens that if you're a bit nervous and while you are having a session, uh, you might have physical fingers. That means you begin to play with things on the podium. You might begin to run your fingers through a keychain. Okay, that you've kept a bunch of keys, or you might have a pen and you keep on picking the pen and kept putting it back. Okay, uh, you're beginning to drum on the size of the podium. Okay, so this all shows that you're not very confident about yourself. Okay, so make sure that your limbs are in your control and they don't act in the manner altogether. Second is that don't weave your arms below the waist. Sometimes you'll feel that if you wave your arms or you allow your arms to hang loosely around your waist, you're not a masculine, but it's a trait of a feminine. Okay, so make sure that you don't have this aspect in you. Third is that avoid rubbing or twitching your nose. So while someone is speaking to you, if you're speaking in front of an audience, Make sure that you're not rubbing or twitching your nose because if you're rubbing and twitching your nose, it shows that you're finding it difficult to understand or it's a thing which cannot be believed on straight away. Okay. And the last one is that don't keep your arms folded cross against your chest because it suggests evasion and that is trying to hide something from someone. It's not like I told you that these points are not necessarily mean that you're trying to hide or you're trying to evade something from someone. Okay, so these are the different gestures and so we have done postures, we've done gestures. Okay, so we'll meet again next time. We'll continue with this. Thank you. You can leave. Have any questions?
Correct.
Yes, sir. Thank you is very prompt. I know that. So